Hey guys, if you're watching this video, this means I've posted another English language lesson and I'm sharing it with you tonight. So the purpose of this lesson, unit 33, is to distinguish between present simple and to be, am, is, are, right? So many students occasionally make mistakes mixing these two different grammars in one sentence. So they may say something like, I am work 5 days a week, which is incorrect because you should keep them apart, right? Present simple is present simple and to be is to be. And the purpose of this lesson is to help your student know the difference between these two grammars and keep them apart. So that in the frame of one sentence, a student uses either present simple does do or the verb to be, am, is, are. We start lesson first from audio. We always do that. Why? Because it is important to train our ears so that a student, when practicing his or her language, right, doesn't use visual aid. Because when you speak with native speaker, the subtitles don't go out of the table, right, to help you. So many times there is no visual aid and you have to trust only your ears. So that's why we listen together with the student, and technically the platform allows us to share the sound with the student. And either student plays and stops or you play and stop and have a student repeat it. Right? So you pause here, and if a student repeats it incorrectly, you play it again. Or you ask a student to replay it. And then you go sentence by sentence, making sure a student repeats everything correctly and has no problems with the pronunciation. So after that, you go to the attachments and you read the text. Now the visual aid comes forth. Right? There are many books like where the text and audio are different, but here the audio files and the text are the same. Have a student produce closed type questions and open type questions for each of the sentence. And also it's a good idea to ask the subject questions. Mark is a truck driver. Who is a truck driver? What is his job? Is Mark a truck driver? So students should be able to perform to produce the three different sentences. So please note that here the word to be rules, right? First and second sentence. But starting from the third sentence up to the end, there is a different grammar used. So this is a grammar of present simple. Many students would try to use the verb to be here when producing questions. They would ask, is he work 5 days a week? Which is of course incorrect. And you have to be very careful when a student finishes second sentence and goes to the third one, right? Next, you have this slide, and on this slide, you have 4 characters, and you have to make a story similar to Mark. So if Mark is a truck driver, so these people have different jobs. Judith is an architect, Taylor and Diane are students, Kelly is a homemaker, and Mr. Jones is a professor. You can produce stories either by going horizontally sentence by sentence, right? Or going vertically, first making a story about Judith, then going to the Taylor and Diane, then Kelly. I personally recommend going horizontally because that adds an additional level of difficulty. That is, the student have to switch between singular, Judith is an architect, and plural, Taylor and Diana are students. Kelly is a homemaker. So going horizontally kind of adds additional layer of difficulty that as a student has to think whether it is singular or plural. And also through all the lessons, the student should think whether it is present simple does do or the verb to be. So after you created these stories, you may go further on, but I especially suggest going here if a student has some problems understanding the grammar topic. Basically, if you have a student with difficulties in understanding the grammar, you may start from this black and white slides. So these black and white slides show us the drilling table. A student is asked to read that horizontally. So the vertical lines you're very welcome to cross, but horizontal lines you cannot cross. So I am a truck driver, right? You cannot read like I is a truck driver, only horizontally. I am a truck driver, he's a truck driver, she's a truck driver. You are truck drivers, they are truck drivers, we are truck drivers. Please note that this line with you hits somewhere in between. Why? Because you are could be counted as a singular, you are a truck driver, or plural, you are truck drivers. With they and we, it's always plural. The purpose of this table is to memorize the grammar, but then you go to the next table, which is kind of the same as the previous one, but it misses some variables. So student has to read with the help of his eyes and with the help of his memory, right? Some variables are missing. So the student goes on and more variables are missing from the same table until he reaches the point where he has to read the table with no variables at all, right? So this is the final table, and the student should produce everything by memory. After you've done that, please do that also orally. For example, you say he, and the student doesn't even look at the table and he says he is a truck driver. You say you, and the student produces 2 sentences. You are a truck driver, you are truck drivers, right? Why is that important? Because a student should be able to produce sentences on the go, right, without any help. The help is needed only if there are difficulties. So please don't think about these tables. If your student can drill orally the grammar, right? If he can produce like on the go, he is a truck driver, she's a truck driver, they are truck drivers, we are truck drivers, you are truck drivers, etc. If a student has problems with here, please consult the tables. Next tables throw us into different grammar topic, and this is the present simple, right? Here there is no to be here anymore. You say I drive trucks, we drive trucks, they drive trucks, etc. So have a student do the same thing here by traveling from table to table. You see more variables missed, and you have student produce the sentences right here. Again, don't do these tables if your student has no problems with the distinguishing between present simple, does, do, and verb to be. After you've done this, you go to the next tab, and that's exercise tab. What exercise tab does is that I write down all the typical mistakes that students make, and as a result I produce this grammar exercises, interactive grammar exercises based on the usual mistakes. So basically hit start and do the exercise. So you've just heard the audio type automatically opens up, and a student should listen and compare the text with audio. Where there is difference between text and audio, there is a mistake. So basically the audio says, does he work 5 days a week? But the text says, does he works 5 days a week? And that is a mistake. So you have to point at the mistake and then go to the next one. Please note that there is sometimes one mistake and there are 2 mistakes. So your student has to kind of check. If he thinks that there are more than 1 mistake, he should check both chips. By the end of the lesson, have a student go to the vocabulary tab and kind of repeat everything that he has learned, summarize everything that he or she has learned during the lesson. So all these chips have audio inside, so a student can work both on memorizing the spelling and the pronunciation. Every time you make it incorrectly, the chip is underlined with red color. If everything is fine, and then it's green color. This type of exercises, also vocabulary exercises, asks you to spell correctly the words. So if you're not sure what that picture means, you can play a sound and then write it. And let me make a mistake here, so that by the end you click submit, and you see how the mistakes are underlined, right? So the correct one is in green color, the wrong one is in red color. So analyze with the student. So that's it about the procedure of the lesson.